On to our worked examples now. So keep in mind we are using the method called inspection and we're finding missing numbers. So you want to make the left-hand side equaling the right-hand side. So 11 minus something gives me 7. So if I have a play around with it, 11 minus 3 will give me 8. So try 11 minus 4 and let's double check that by writing it in. So I've got 11 minus 4 equals 7. So I need to make sure that my left-hand side equals my right-hand side. So 11 minus 4 is actually 7. So that is correct. So our missing number has a value of 4. Next one. Similar type of thing as we did before. So I want to have my left-hand side equaling my right-hand side. So I have 45 on my left-hand side equals something multiplied by 5. So again, have a play around with some numbers. I could try maybe 4. So 4 times 5 does give me 20. Way too low. Let's try something a bit bigger. Let's try maybe 6 times 5 gives me 30. Nope, still too low. Let's try 7. 7 times 5. I actually end up with 35. So I'm getting there. So keep going. So let's try 8 times 5. And if I try 8 times 5 in my lovely calculator, which I have right next to me, sorry you can't see it on the screen, 8 times 5 I end up with 40. So let's try 9. 9 times 5 does actually equal 45. So my left-hand side equals my right-hand side. So therefore my answer for that, and again I can substitute in to make sure that it is the correct answer. Yep, absolutely is. And I can write my final statement of that missing number is 9 for that one. And again, let's continue. We've got a couple more to do. So solve the following equations by inspection. So for this one, again, I have to have my left-hand side equaling my right-hand side. If I am doing this, so R is the thing I want to find out, okay? And it says something plus 8 gives me 21. So if I try maybe 10 plus 8, that gives me 18. So keep going. Let's try 12 plus 8. No, it only gives me 20. Let's try 19 plus 8. Way too big. Let's try a little bit smaller. So I'm now going to try 13. So 13 plus 8 does indeed give me 21. My left-hand side equals my right-hand side. So let's write that all in. So R plus 8 gives me 21. So if I substitute in for my R value to be 13, 13 plus 8 doesn't give me 21. So my R value is 13. On to my next one. So I've got 10 equals S divided by 2. Okay, so S divided by 2. I want to find out what my value for S is. So this side here equals 10. That's what that means, okay? So let's have a play around with some numbers, and we want to make sure that our left-hand side equals our right-hand side. So if I've got 10 equals S divided by 2, let's find some numbers that we could use for S to equaling 10. So if I do maybe 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Nope, too small. Let's try maybe 20 divided by 2. That indeed actually equals 10. So our value for S, and again I can do this by substitution to double check. Yep, that's correct. So my value for S in this one is 20. And again, it's just that kind of trial and error. Last couple of ones that we're going through. And again, the point of all of these worked examples is to actually show you questions that you'll encounter when you actually go through the questions that we've allocated for you from the textbook. So, next one. We've been given a few little instructions with this one. Again, I'm solving by inspection. All solutions are whole numbers between 1 and 10. Let's make a note of that. Our number can only be between 1 and 10. So we've got to play around until we find that magical thing, which gives us what we're after. So if I have 3 lots of something, so 3 lots of B plus 4 gives me 16. We're going to play around with some numbers. So let's do maybe 3 times 3 plus 4. So that gives me, so 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4 gives me 13. A little bit too slow, but quite a little bit too low, but actually quite close. So let's do 3 times 4 plus 4. So I'm saying that my B value is equal to 4. So 3 times 4 is 12, plus 4 is indeed 16. We've got our left-hand side equaling our right-hand side. And that's exactly what we want to do every single time. So let's try to substitute in. We said 4 plus 4 equals 16. So our value for, so it equals 16 equals 16. Beautiful. So our value for B that we've used is actually 4. Next one. This one, a little bit more complex, but again, have a go. Remember, we know that it's between 1 and 10, so don't go too big. Aim for the middle and see how you go from there. So let's try to start off with, I've got 5 multiplied by, let's say, 5 multiplied by 1 minus 3 equals 5 plus 1. So this says that this particular number equals 6, and 5 times 1 is 5 minus 3, so 2 equals 6. Note that is not correct, okay? Let's try another number. This time I'm going to write it out. So let's try 5 times, let's use the value of C being 2. So 5 times 2 minus 3 equals 5 plus 2. Let's have a go at this. So again, I want my left-hand side to equal my right-hand side. So I've got 10 minus 3 equals 5 plus 2. And let's solve each side by themselves. So 10 minus 3 is 7. And 5 plus 2 is 7. Oh, look, we've stumbled onto our answer. So just by playing around with numbers, you can actually get the answer. Okay, again, play around with the numbers, see if it's getting too high or too low, and go from there. So the value that we had for our C is actually 2. Okay, last couple of ones, I believe. Yep, before you're on to your questions. So we're finding the value of the unknown number in each of these examples. Okay, so we have to write an equation first, and then we are going to be able to solve it. So let's give ourselves a little bit of structure. So we need our equation first, and then we're going to be able to solve it. And again, remember, solve means we are finding out what that number actually is. So if I'm going through this now, I've got 6 more than a number. Let's say our number is X. More than means I have added. So if I've got my number, so it's 6 more than my number, which means I've got my number and I've added 6, is, remember that means equals, so because it's at the end of the sentence, is 15. So this statement here is exactly the same as the one written. So 6 more than number is 15. Now we need to solve it. So how do I get my my left-hand side equaling my right-hand side? So a number plus 6 gives me 15. If I ever play around with it for a bit, if I try maybe 8 plus 6, 8 plus 6 gives me 14, and I want 15. So if I try 9 plus 6, I get 15. So that would actually be my answer. So 9 plus 6 equals 15. I haven't answered the question yet. It said to find the value of the unknown number. So in this, I need to say that the number is actually 9 to answer my question. So the number is 9. Now I've answered that question. Let's have a look at our last one. So again, go through, find the relevant information to make sure you're on track. So Jessica is paid $10 an hour, and we don't know how many hours she's worked. During a particular weekend, she earns $60. first thing we need to do is write an equation for it, and then we are going to be able to solve it. So let's go on to that equation first. So if she earns $10 per hour, because that word per or for, that refers to multiplying. And we've said for a particular weekend, she gets $60. That would be my equation. I've got my total, usually on my right-hand side, and I have what the statement that we have to find the prenumeral, the number for, on my left-hand side. Typically, that's what you'll normally see, Okay, so now that we've got our equation, let's have a go at our solution. We need to solve it. So I've got 10 multiplied by x gives me 60. And again, let's have a play around. I could do, so 10 multiplied by 6. So I'm substituting in x equals 6. And that does indeed equal 60. So my right-hand side and my left-hand side are equal. So my number, and again, we need to know what our value for x is in the end. Our number is 6. So she's actually worked 6 hours. Lovely. On to your questions now.